Howdy-ho, everyone. Final day of class just wrapped up. I'm in my office waiting for a few things to get wrapped up, and we're going to go through in the next few videos the exact same things that we covered in class. So the first thing that we're going to start with is I'm going to do a very quick sheet by sheet rundown of everything and make sure that the big ticket items are covered. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to start at my cover sheet, and you can see I've got my cover sheet here. Do I have a pretty picture? Yes. Do I have a sheet schedule? Yes. Good. Those are what I need on my cover sheet. Look at my site plan. Is there a site plan view on my sheet? Yes, there is. Okay, site plan's good. Ground floor plan. I have a ground floor plan and I have a ground floor furniture room finish schedule. Great. Everything there is covered. Second floor plan. I've got my floor plan and I've got my room finish schedule. So far, so good. Exterior elevations. I've got both of my both of these exterior elevations are shown. Good. A102, or A202 rather, I have two other exterior elevations. Now, this has been coming up. If your sheet is looking like this, and the views are this wide, it's obviously going to be a little strange. The easiest way to fix that, double click in the view, and if they're not already turned on, this button here, this button right here, the little crop indicator, that means that you can crop the view. However, the icon immediately to the right of it, the little crop window with the light bulb on it, that means that the crop extents are visible. So you need to turn the crop extents on in order to edit them. If this is your sheet and your views are this big, then turn your crop view on. Make sure your crop is editable. When it's not cropped, you can see how everything's a lot larger and a lot more spun out than it needs to be. You can also see the little red X right there in the bottom corner. So all I'm doing is I will just grab the edge of this and I will drag it up and around however I need to make things fit and be pretty on the page. I'm then going to take the legs of my my section cuts. I don't want the leg of my section cut to go past my view title, so I'm just going to move him around, or not move him around, but I'm just going to drag the leg of this up a bit. It's not as snappy as I would like. Thank you. I'll get that update later. There we go. Okay. So you may need to do that on multiple elevations. Right now I'm doing this. This is on the east and west page. You may need to go back to your sheet 201. It might be a lot longer than it needs to be. Also, let's try to get the heads of our sections a little more in alignment. They don't have to be in alignment with the grid heads, but I mean, it's a nice aesthetic if these things line up. If visually you have to do this number when you're looking for information on a drawing, you're basically going to end up getting a headache because your eyes are going to continually change focus. So to have things line up is just an aesthetic trick that helps us out. Everything up here is looking good too. So we've got things lined up. We don't have the tail ends of the sections crossing over to the view of the section. So things are looking good there. So both of my exterior elevation sheets are looking pretty good. Let's look at our interior elevations. Okay, I'm looking at our interior elevations. As you can see, I've added the dimensions on here already. If you need to do that, I'm pretty sure I covered that in a previous video. Since they're already here on the model that I use for the videos, then you should have already gotten past this point and you should see everything that's there. Now, if the dimensions are off by just a teeny tiny little little tiny amount, I'm not gonna freak out. I'm probably not even gonna count against it. If you don't have dimensions at all, I'll count against that. But if a dimension is off by a half inch or an eighth of an inch or something like that, don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. Okay, so my interior elevations are looking good. Let's look at our building sections. Okay, building sections are looking pretty good. Um, I do see an item that needs to be addressed, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Oh, here's a fun thing. Since I made the building section before and cropped it before I drew in the porch overhang and the porch itself, that means the crop is cutting off the end of the porch. I want to see that. So I'm going to double click and open my view, select my crop limits, and then I'll just pull him out just a little bit. I just want to see the ends of these. That's basically it. I'm just moving him out just a hair. That's all I'm doing. I just want to see the end of that. Okay. Building sections are looking pretty good. Wall sections. Okay, do we have all the drafting elements on here that we need? So far, it's looking pretty good. We've got our framing members in here. We've got our insulation. I've got the dimensions. I've modified the storefront. So far, everything is looking pretty good. There is an item that we need to address, as I mentioned in the building sections. If we zoom in, you'll notice that our building is floating on a cushion of air. Aside from that, all the modeling information in here is completely and totally done. We'll get to correcting that in just a second, but that's the next video. So the review is done, and we're on to correcting that one little thing. So we'll see you in the next video.